Willkommen zum Stripcoverlick. Ich heiße Adrian Fort.
I'm Dalton Gentry.
It's the one-man wolf pack over here. Look at that.
German is an uncomfortable language. It's too harsh. And apparently I look like Zach Galifianakis today. Because that's all you keep telling me, but I'm okay with it. I'm comfortable with it. It's a good look.
How do you go to Zach Galifianakis from, what's his name?
From what's his name?
Seth Rogen.
They look very similar.
Do you think?
Yeah. Like, there's a list of people Dalton looks like. I'd like to say people that look like Dalton, but
at this point,
that's slightly pretentious of me. So there's a list of people who look like Dalton, and it's Zach Galifianakis, Seth Rogen, and the guy from Pitch Perfect who plays Benji. Have you ever seen Pitch Perfect?
No.
Apparently I look like Benji. I don't see it. But I've also gotten Jack Osborne a lot.
I can see Jack
when
Osborne.
I had curlier hair.
You look sort of like an effeminate Russell Crowe.
That is the best compliment I've ever been paid.
Yeah?
I've got Russell Crowe's book.
Who is it?
Did you say Russell Crowe?
Yes.
I'm upset now. It's not what I wanted.
What were you going to say?
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand. Why would you rather look like Russell Brand than Russell Crowe?
Russell Brand's awesome. I've got his book, by the way, his biography.
My Bookie Wookie or whatever?
My Bookie Wook. By the way, this is Variety Hour. We forgot the plug.
Speaking of people, I got again this week, while at work.
Patrick Bateman.
No. Jensen Ackles? Get your phone.
Jensen Ackles?
I believe
is
so.
Is that a name?
Someone from a show called Paranormal?
Paranormal?
Do Jensen Ackles. Don't do Paranormal. I don't know if that's the name of the show.
Jensen Ackles? Like Jensen?
I think so.
Yeah, Jensen Ackles.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I don't see it.
I don't see it at all.
I literally get this like every 3 months.
Really?
Yes.
I realize that we just like turn the camera on and we're like, oh, let's look at our phone. Let's look at people we look like. I'll pitch this one at you here from Pitch Perfect and see if you get it as well.
I don't see it.
See? I don't either.
I don't see it.
But people say Benji all the time, and it makes me a very sad man.
No, I don't see it.
See?
They just look at the hair.
They look at the hair.
That's what they're looking at.
Anyway, what do you want to talk about this week?
This is Variety Hour. I don't have a life. We're here for you. This is a therapy session.
I almost died multiple times.
Yeah?
This week. Okay, so I live in St. Joseph. Here is St. Joseph, right?
Yeah.
Here is the Missouri River.
Right.
And on the other side of the Missouri River is Kansas. I live literally on the border of Missouri and Kansas. And in a little place called Atchison, Kansas, which is just across the river, there was a chemical spill, which produced a pluming fog over the city.
How did I not hear about this?
It was all over the news of chlorine gas.
Isn't chlorine gas one of the Agent Orange? Isn't that one of the ingredients in Agent Orange?
I think so, but I'm going to put on the list of things that are bad for you.
Yeah.
Chlorine gas.
It's up there.
So they pretty much evacuate Atchison. It's gone.
Wow.
And all over the news, there's this fear that they're going to have to evacuate St. Joseph. Atchison has a few thousand people. St. Joseph has a few 100,000 people. There's a big difference of how to evacuate.
I think St. Joe has 800,000 people.
Does it? I thought it had 200,000.
Maybe.
I could be wrong. But there's a lot more people to evacuate.
Right.
I slept through all this because I work night shift.
Really?
I just woke up and I look at the news and it's like, congratulations, you're dead. No, actually, the reason I knew about this...
You almost woke up like Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead.
I really did.
Yeah.
The reason I knew about this, because, Facebook has that feature now where you can check in safe. Have you seen that?
No, I have not.
When major events happen in your area, because, it's location-based, they actually give you a ticker that pops up as soon as you turn Facebook on that you can check that you're safe.
Wow.
So when you have friends and family, they can get on Facebook and they can know immediately if you're safe.
Yeah.
This happens a lot with mass shootings, major tragedies. I got a ticker for Atchison Hazmat Incident. Are you safe? And I'm like, what the fuck's this?
Yeah.
And I get reading, I'm seeing, a chlorine gas spill. Literally just down the road. My windows are open. I've been sleeping. I'm dead. I'm going to die now. So pure panic. I survive. No problem.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately for you. The next day I go to work. And we're coming home, and as I do on my drive home, if I'm not reading, I turn on the Facebook, see what happened overnight. Literally, my downtown area was on fire. The whole thing burned down.
I did hear about that.
Like, the bridge that is literally a half block, if that. The bridge, I can probably hit it with a rock from my house. Was shut down because of the fire. There was too much smoke and whatnot. So I'm like, oh, that's it. My roommate's going to be dead. The windows are open. The dog's dead. This is my life now if the house hasn't burned down itself.
You gotta start closing your windows.
No, it's October.
But there's fires and there's chemical spills.
Yeah, but I'm not going to pay for an electric bill in October, Adrian. It's nice out.
I'm just saying. There's been a lot of fires in St. Joe recently, haven't there?
Yes, many of which come from my neighborhood. I've told you about this, right?
No.
We've had 3 house fires within 3 years.
What?
I have a family member
Someone's making meth.
I have a family member who has a proficiency for house fires. 1 year his house burns down. It was an electrical fire, no problem.
No problem?
House was insured.
No fault.
No fault. House was insured. Just fine and dandy. Literally, here's his house that burned down. Here's my house. Here's the alleyway. He buys this house.
Uh-oh.
A year, the same month, a year later, house catches fire. Didn't insure this one because, it's not going to happen again. That's your fault there. Whoops.
That is what is known as the gambler's fallacy.
The gambler's fallacy. So that happens. Here's Dalton's little house. Dalton has electric fire. My neighborhood is on speed dial at the fire department. We had central air put in, and there was some shoddy wiring that wasn't covered when he left. And when the air turned on, the wiring moved, hit the metal, sparked, and caught the vent on fire. No big deal. No damage done. Fixed it myself. But it's a scary moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought, my roommate was making Pop-Tarts, and I realized the house was on fire. And this is Josh, by the way, from the Aristocrat show. I hope he'll confirm this story. So I run upstairs, and the fire alarm's going off in his room, which is filled with smoke. He is dead asleep. And I'm like, Josh, what the hell are you doing? House is on fire. We're going to die. We run outside. I've got the dog. I'm in my TARDIS robe from Doctor Who. I've got the dog. Josh is barely clothed, and we're just waiting for the fire department to show up. And I'm like, where's your cat, Josh? He's like, it's too late. It's too late, man. We can't do it. So this is 7:30 in the morning. Significant other is literally coming home from work.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
And she comes home to fire trucks, and we're just outside, and she's like, what did you two do? I'm like, nothing. I'm sorry. Nothing happened. Anyway, I've almost died multiple times this week.
In related news, we've considered doing Twitch.
Yes, we have.
We don't know what we want to do. We don't know if we want to get a little bit drunk and start reading sonnets from Shakespeare. Or the Book of Mormon.
I've dabbled with Twitch a little bit, and we are wanting to do a gaming channel, and we were going to incorporate a lot of Twitch into that. Where we'd have a weekly live stream day, if not a daily live stream day, depending on the success of Twitch and the gaming channel. We'd really like to bring literature to it, but how do you live stream literature?
Yeah, so we're looking for suggestions, we're looking for votes, we're looking for a little bit of prodding, we're looking for whether or not that seems reasonable.
We're willing to humiliate ourselves.
Yeah.
So that
we do this.
That is the question. Would people enjoy watching the creative process of Strip Cover Lit at work, where we sit down to read a text and we discuss it and argue it and yell at the book and probably have too many drinks? Is that entertaining?
Yeah.
Because for some reason people think yes. I think it sounds just like a Monday.
Dalton and I get drunk and we do an Emily Dickinson off.
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh. Now see, when you put the word off in it, that makes me think we need to go back to writing our own haikus. We could have a live haiku off.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes. And come up with haiku on the fly. We can make it happen.
I don't know about that. A little bit of inebriation goes a long way.
Yeah. Once I have a couple drinks, I will be completely game for whatever. So
I haven't been drunk in a really long time.
We've actually never drank together. We've
Not
had a
much.
drink together.
Yeah.
At dinner.
Yeah.
But we've never drank excess together. So it could be disaster. People may just see us fist fighting.
That would.
People want to watch that. It's entertainment.
We'll get that on recording.
So, in
I've
addition,
had several drunken sessions that lead to Fight Club.
Really?
Yeah.
You are not the person I want to be drinking with now. This is already a terrible
I'll
idea.
tell this story. I'll tell this story.
Okay.
Since story time. So, one of my roommates and I used to drink together once in a while.
Okay.
And I remembered us getting into a fight club, right? We were just pummeling each other, right? But nothing serious.
Okay.
Right? And I wake up the next morning, and a lot of times when I drink, I'll end up waking up earlier, right? So I wake up and I decide it's time to go to the gym.
Okay.
So I'm in the gym and I'm bench pressing. I'm like, wow, my shoulder's not quite right. What is going on here? Because I remember, I don't remember wailing on anybody. I remember, give me one. No, you give me one, right? So go to the gym. Shoulder's a little off. I don't know if maybe I threw it out, what happened. So get back to the truck. I'm like, man, it just doesn't feel right. I pull my shirt up. I have a massive bruise that I managed to not notice.
Nice.
So later in that day, I'm like, hey man, did we really go at each other? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, I got a bruise, like right here. He said, Adrian, you did that to yourself.
No shit.
Like, what do you mean? He said, first off, you went to the gym? I said, yeah. He goes, I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a freight train. He said, it took me an hour and a half to convince myself I needed to wake up.
I don't want to drink with you now at all.
Apparently, we just went at it. And I started thinking I knew Taekwondo and just throwing myself about. And, so...
I don't understand how this came to be, but I'm going to say the only logic behind it is I can live up to a chunk of my namesake. I hate telling this story because I've told you where my name came from, right?
No.
Really?
I don't think so. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta tell a story on the channel, though.
So, my parents were going to name me after my father, after my grandfather, very regal, passing on the lineage. But, in the 90s, Patrick Swayze was popular. So they watched Roadhouse, and they said, let's name him Dalton. That's a great idea. He'll be a suave bouncer, and he'll go from town to town, fixing up cars, and falling in love with women, and cleaning up the local honky-tonk. I hate my life. But for some reason, when we drink, I become the cooler in a situation.
The what?
The cooler. Have you never seen Roadhouse?
No.
It's terrible. You don't need to watch it.
Have I ever seen... No, I've never seen Roadhouse.
We're going to have to review it for the channel. It's terrible. But anyway... When, something is going to go down or there's a fight, people immediately draw me into it. So you need to get in here and finish this. You need to get this, broke up. How the fuck did that become me? I am not the one who needs this responsibility.
Yeah.
I become angry Dalton. I'm not sassy and fun anymore. I become very angry. But it's always me. What?
I'm not sassy at that point.
I'm not sassy at that point. But it's...
Become salty Dalty.
But anyway, that story I wanted to tell because you were talking about that, but this reminded me of another drinking extravaganza, which apparently people just want to listen to us talk drinking stories.
You say that because you're talking drinking stories. Listen to him go. Look at you.
Hush. I had a buddy one day who very much Fight Club-esque. They're like, let's punch each other. I'm like, no, that's stupid. We drank a lot. He said, no, I'll punch you. You punch me. You can even punch me first. We'll see who hits harder. We'll see who hits harder. Just right in the chest, right here. I said, no, this is stupid. So it goes on and on until he finally punches me in the chest. And I punched him in the face. And that's the way it ended. So I don't know if us drinking together...
You have to know better than that.
What?
You don't hit someone in the face.
He shouldn't hit me in the chest after I tell him not to.
Dalton.
What?
Dalton.
What?
Listen, you go.
So, we can't drink together.
We probably shouldn't.
No, we shouldn't. It'll be terrible in many ways. The few times we drank together, you forced me to try Red Man, which was a nightmare.
It's amazing.
I had to gargle with hose water to get it out of my mouth.
Is that true?
Yes. Well, not hose water, but I did go and the little squirty nozzle on the faucet. I went into the kitchen and I was like, is it a hose?
No, I'm saying, okay.
Yes.
Do you see how his stories escalate between here and here? And that's where everything becomes just garbage.
What?
Yeah, he escalates things.
Because I gargled the water, I had to spray my mouth with a hose.
You gargled with a hose.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We're not going to go Freudian on that.
This isn't the Freud episode, young man. This is the Telling Drinking Stories episode. I don't know what else to talk about. We did launch the Aristocrat show, and we did put up a trailer review We have put it up from Star Wars.
Thank you to
Rogue
everyone,
One.
by the way, who has ventured over there, subscribed, watched, liked, commented.
Yes,
We
that
appreciate
is absolutely awesome. We're hoping to really hit that hard early November.
Right.
We've got a good month of November coming up, not as content heavy as this month was. We hit hard in this month. But we're doing 3 novels.
3 novels, yes.
3 novels, including the recipient of the Man Booker Prize this year.
Whatever that may be.
Yes.
We're hoping.
Yes.
If it's some 600-page Goliath, I don't know if we're doing that.
We're doing this. We're going to make it happen. I'm sure it's an easy read. There's probably not a literary quality in there. It's just pop fiction.
Right.
But we need to make it happen.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't know, I've been looking at like master's programs lately.
Yeah.
And I know we talk about this every now and then. But are you familiar with the Iowa Writers Workshop program?
Am I familiar with the Harvard of the writing world? Yes, I am familiar with. I've heard of it.
Okay. First and foremost, we're not getting in. We can, kid ourselves all we want.
No, absolutely.
But the idea of a writer's retreat, I think we have to have one. Now, I said it was a bad idea for us to get together for, 3 or 4 hours and drink. Let's go live together for 2 weeks in the woods and write. It'll be great.
Okay. What would be your ideal writer's retreat? This is a question for everyone.
Okay.
What would be your ideal writer's retreat?
What are you looking for here?
I don't know. What do you mean, what am I looking for? What would be your ideal writer's retreat?
I think it would be very beneficial to just get away from everything. Dare I say, turn phones off as well, because you're supposed to be focused on writing. Just have some time to sit and write. Hopefully somewhere nice. I'm prissy. I need a nice place. But that's really it. That's all I want, is just time to sit and write and think.
Okay.
And not have to worry about going to work, worry about the YouTube channel, reading. Just focus on your writing.
Okay.
You?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Nothing?
An abandoned library.
Yeah?
Yeah. Old, dusty, abandoned library with the book still in it.
I just imagine, it's completely decrepit and run down. There's growth in the floors.
I could do that.
And Adrian's just sitting there happy as a clam.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking like a cabin, mountain cabin style.
A mountain cabin library.
Ooh. See, we're rolling into the idea of, what writers romanticize, everything about writing.
Yeah.
Writer's retreat's just going to be us drinking for 2 weeks and not accomplishing anything. You know that, right?
No, that's not what... No. Maybe for Dalton. I think you misestimate Adrian.
Yeah, you do have a point there.
This is a miscalculation on your behalf.
Yeah. This is very true.
Yeah.
I would accomplish nothing, though. I would literally spend my week pissing you off.
Probably.
That is exactly what I do. Yep.
And I would be quoting Emily Dickinson the entire time.
That's...
I'd just be throwing Emily Dickinson at you.
That's absolutely terrible.
Emily Dickinson. I died for beauty, but was scarce adjusted in the tomb.
Anything else?
One who died for truth was laying in an adjoining room.
You done?
He questioned softly why I failed.
We done.
For beauty, I replied.
Can we talk about a book that we picked up for a future coming book haul that I really just want to talk about for a second?
And I for truth, the two are one, we brethren are, he said. And so as kinsmen midnight, we talked between the rooms until the moss reached our lips and covered up our names.
Okay. We bought How to Read Literature.
Because I could not stop.
No, we were talking about books now.
All right.
We talked about... we purchased the book How to Read Literature Like a Professor.
Yeah.
And that's a book that I've always wanted a copy, and we got a sweet deal, which is hopefully coming soon in a haul video, but we'll talk about this. I don't know a lot of craft books.
Yeah.
I would say this is definitely a craft book, but it doesn't seem to be a writer's book. This seems to be a reader's craft book, which is rarity. Have you peeked yet? Have you looked into it a little bit? Towards the back of it, what I noticed, it's just amazing. It gives suggested readings and why they should be suggested for your literary growth, your writing growth, things like that. Then they even have like a master's level reading, like this is what you should be reading, this is what you should try to take from difficult texts. I think Ulysses is on there. Really just excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, pushes me further away from the fear that I'm not a writer, I'm terrible at writing. Because a writer's craft book, I'm like, yep, that's a thing. This really excited me when I got it, so...
I am not particularly motivated by writer's craft books either.
Okay.
Though I think that they are necessary because oftentimes there is a gem or two in them.
Okay.
I think that you don't want to sit down and say no one can teach you anything about writing, but the only thing anyone can teach you about writing is how they write, right?
Very true.
So for me, craft books are a mixed bag, and I think that's why I hold on writing so high in my own estimation, is because it's not just a craft book. And even the craft part of the craft book is Stephen King being cheeky enough to say you can't do it unless you can do it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So...
let's see. With November coming, everybody wants to be a writer in November. Because NaNoWriMo. I've fallen into that before. I've done it before.
Okay.
But that's a good thing as well.
Okay.
November is good for a lot of people because it motivates them to write. It gets them doing daily word counts. It pushes writers, which is great. I don't know where I'm going with this. I am terrified of writing. I don't like to share my writing with people. I don't like you to even know what I'm writing about.
I've never read anything Dalton's written.
Yes, I've read things you've written. I've read things you've published. I do have a copy of a novel that I'm not supposed to have of yours.
You know why you have that novel?
Because you gave it to me and said, could you review, or could you edit this for me?
Could you critique this
Could
for
you
me?
critique this for me?
Never got it back to me.
Nope.
Typical
College
Dalton fashion.
College Dalton. But I do have it. And that's, I've always said many times, once you finally publish and you become famous because you are a damn fine writer, I will just sell that.
You son of a bitch.
And then I'm fine. I'm good. I don't have to work anymore. It's acceptable. Who has the rough draft of Carrie? Me. That's going to be my literary career. Me. He sold an expensive book. But it is very apprehensive, and like I said, I'm really working on getting this novel writing series started. But I guess I'm asking for suggestions as well. What would you like to see from that? My conception is following the writing process. You know, what I'm doing every now and then. Maybe I can give snippets of my writing if that would be beneficial, if people would be interested in that. Tactics that I'm using, if I'm reaching word counts, things like that. We need to focus more on our writers. That's something we really prided ourselves in the beginning, but we've gotten away from lately.
Right.
So I would like to put some focus into work into that. So if you do have suggestions for a novel writing segment, I'm getting ready to launch this very, very soon. I'd love to hear your opinions on it.
While we were getting suggestions, what would you like to see from the channel in general?
This is true.
What are some series you would like to see us continue? If you would like to see the 6 Things continue again.
A lot of people like the 6 Things, so we might have to do that again.
If you would like to see, what new things would you like to see? I hate to ask for book recommendations because I'm afraid where those might go, but...
Here's the thing, and I tell people this with book recommendations all the time. I love them. I love book recommendations. I have this fear that when people say, I recommended this book to you a week ago. Right. What do you think? I'm like,
yeah. Didn't happen. I think it didn't happen.
And a lot of people are so generous and so kind that they say, let me send you a copy of this. And I always say, don't worry about it. Just let me know. I'll pick it up. I promise I'll get there eventually.
Right.
A lot of people insist on sending them. And I always feel bad because we set at the beginning of the month what we're going to read for that month.
Right.
Which is pretty breakneck usually.
Yeah.
It's a rarity if we can fit in a personal novel, like something we want to read into that. So I always feel bad when I get suggestions, so if you suggested a novel to us, please don't hate us if you haven't seen it lately.
Or if you don't hate us already.
Yeah,
I mean, perhaps you hating us is the reason why you suggested that novel, right? At some point, someone said you should read Harry Potter. I imagine that's because we were hated at that point.
That's kind of you. You have anything else to talk about Variety Hour this week?
I got nothing, man.
I'm tapped. I'm very tired. You're going to night shift now, so you're dealing with sleep schedule shifts,
and you're tired. I don't wake up.
I'm perpetually tired.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
because I just never wake up.
Okay,
like I never wake up refreshed.
Chatting with some booktubers on the BookTube chat app thing that I have on my phone. Like I say, yeah, I work nights because people will be chatting. I'm like, well, I'm getting ready to head to work. Have a good night. Flabbergasted. They're like, oh, you work nights? That has to be awful. I'm like, well, thanks for reminding me. I appreciate it. Yeah. It is.
It's terrible.
But we'll get used to it. Yeah. But if you like this kind of thing, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. We do talk about books as well on this channel, but Thursdays is just our variety hour. We sit down and just kind of chat between each other.
We also talk movies over at The Aristocrats, so make sure if you are interested in that sort of thing, you go over there and check us out. But you can also follow us on Twitter at StripCover. The Aristocrats on Twitter at
Aristocrat Show.
And you can follow us on Facebook at Strip Cover Lit.